5 years ago, when we sat down and looked at what we needed to do, what our students needed, I never would have thought we could have accomplished what we have in that period of time, and that's due to the vision of our principal, Jake, who really had that knowledge and understanding and passion, and that's been infectious for the staff, and they've worked really hard over that period of time to get to where we are now.
I mean, St Augustine's is essentially a learning institution, so we're a school like every other school is. So it's not until you actually get inside the classrooms themselves, or as we call them, the cohort learning spaces, that you see a physical difference. We wanted to have collaboration, problem solving, critical thinking. We wanted the children to show initiative. We wanted to build strong interpersonal skills. We wanted the children to be able to stand tall, articulate their learning. For that to take place, we have to change the way that we deliver learning in the classrooms to meet that. So if we want them to be collaborative, we need to provide opportunities for them to collaborate and to cooperate in groups. If we want them to be, to have flexibility and to develop that sort of ability to move from one thing to another, we have to provide the opportunity to do that. So the physicality of our classrooms and our school site had to be re-looked at and think, well, how can we do that? And the constraints of every site will determine what you do. What we have downstairs here at the moment is 2 grade levels. We have Year 2 on this side and Year 1 on this side, and the actual space is more like a big horseshoe space. So as we wander through, you'll see that there are a variety of workstations that the children operate from. See the way that teachers are interacting with the students. Some are providing some direct instruction. Some, like Leonie's over here, is working with particular individual students. The cohort framework enables us to reach each of the children across the grade and collectively take responsibility for it. So it's not just the one teacher and the one group of kids making some decisions. It's really about the whole cohort collectively planning and organising, looking at the student data, analysing the results of the tests.
The way we deliver the curriculum has changed, so the what is always similar, but the how is something that we've really been focusing on.
Pedagogy is the how in terms of teaching. It looks at, well, if you're teaching something and it's not having an effect on students' learning, then why are we doing it?
One of the things that was really important for us was to look at the role of the library in this, because guided inquiry is a type of inquiry where the teacher librarian is a really important part of the planning process.
We have 5 different spaces that can be booked, so whether it is small group that are just doing their own independent research, or a teacher's directing their learning through something on the internet or something that needs a group of laptops, we can provide all those spaces here in the Lark. So this is another space that you can come, and an extra pair of hands in myself to accommodate those groups. In my role in particular, I work with every staff member in the school, and my day changes at the drop of a hat.
So for a couple of years, we as a staff were building our own capacity to understand how children learn. And with that came, of course, the internet paradigm.
The general trend that I find is the first thing children go to is Google to search for something. So the skills to do that properly, the teachers and I still address that as part of our cohort work.
What we do in terms of engaging multimodal tools for learning is ensure that what they're doing is targeted, is purposeful, is relevant and is exciting. And if they're using the screen as a learning tool, we ensure that they have a scaffold where they are writing and recording and responding, and then have to take it to that next level.
It was hard. We would hear about it, we would read about it, but we would say to Jake, we need to see it. And we did do that. I've been to Sydney twice to look at schools in Sydney that have a similar culture, I guess, a similar structure, and come back and shared, but nothing is quite the same as your own school, of course, so we've made it fit to us.
As teachers, we had to see ourselves as learners, and we had to do our own inquiry, and I guess you know, there was a shift in culture of losing some control over the children's learning and let them be, you know, participate more fully in their own learning.
That what we're asking the kids to do in here is exactly what we've been asked to do ourselves, and it's not, instead of just sitting and working by yourself and getting your work done, but actually collaborate and consult with other people and work together, which in the end I do think is much more rewarding.
You know, the world today is much more conducive, I suppose, to interaction. And with that does come some downsides, but you work with them, you manage with them. We're a people institution and we all have our ups and downs, but the whole focus is about the kids. The difficulty, of course, is that, you know, I suppose this is where the whole disruptive innovation comes into play. You know, if you really want something to change, you know, they say that we'll just do a little bit at a time, you know, it'd be okay. But the reality or the practicality of just doing a little bit at a time doesn't sort of work. So in order to really get substantive change happening, it needs to be, you know, whole scale, right, kindergarten through to year 6, and it needs to be fairly quick.
Teacher practice has to change, and it is hard, but it's really worthwhile. Our job isn't about us as teachers, it's about the students, and it's about the way they learn and how they learn. Having conversations with students around the world as part of their everyday practice.
It's what the children bring to the table. In 10 years' time there will be a new generation of children coming to the school. What will it be that they need? Well, I'm not too sure, but we have to be adaptable. Teachers have to be really adaptable.
Yeah, it would be a very exciting place to be. So we'll see what happens. I am nervous though. I'll have to change again.
And I think that the kids today are growing up are very fortunate, and I think they're very lucky, and it's an exciting time to be involved with education, with all the things happening around us. And I think that you know, if the children in our school, you know, learning the way they are at the moment and being engaged, are going to be the beneficiaries of tomorrow, I think we're in good hands.